this horse in particular, when he curls, he also tends to rush. He's difficult to turn or steer or stop or do a transition. So that's why it's really important that he correctly accepts the contact. All right, hello everyone, I'm Amelia. Today we are talking about what to do with a horse that curls and wants to kind of drop behind the contact. This horse will even kind of bite his chest. And so I'm going to give you several exercises and tips that you can use to get your horse to accept the contact. Also, if you haven't yet joined my 30 Days to Round challenge, check out the description below and sign up. The challenge is all about teaching your horse to correctly accept the contact, teaching your horse to get round and use their top line correctly. The problem with when your horse curls and when they go behind the contact is that they aren't using their top line correctly. They're not engaging and using their hind end, and they're not very rideable. So this horse in particular, when he curls, he also tends to rush. He's difficult to turn or steer or stop or do a transition. So that's why it's really important that he correctly accepts the contact. So I'm just going to start out here and I'm going to demonstrate. First of all, I'll demonstrate to you what happens when he curls behind the contact. Let me know in the comments if your horse curls and what breed your horse is. So this horse is a PRE. I found that like PREs and Friesians tend to curl and drop behind the contact. So what happens when your horse drops behind the contact? Let me go up to the trot and just kind of demonstrate to you. When he goes behind the contact like this, it makes it really difficult to ride him. It makes it difficult to regulate the tempo. He either wants to go too slow or he wants to go too fast. It also, like you see there, he like kind of went fast and then he stops and then he went fast. You'll also notice, like, if he's curled like this and I go to try to make a transition, like you see I asked for canter there, he can't actually do the canter transition. The reason why being that when he's curled, he's not engaging his back and he's not using his top line. So then the question becomes, what do you do with a horse that wants to curl, get too light in the contact? If you have a horse that's strong in the contact, you do a lot of kind of like vibrating and moving the bit. If you have a horse that wants to curl, what I do is I really think about keeping the contact really steady and keeping that bit super still in his mouth. The other thing that's really important if you have a horse that curls is you want your hands to be steady and you want to use a lot of seat and leg. So you're mainly riding from your leg to your hand. And I'm really focusing on keeping my hands here just like very steady. The other thing that's really important is if he goes to curl, like there a little bit when he sneezed, but if he goes to curl or go too low, I don't want to let the reins go. So you want to really keep a steady contact regardless of where he goes. So like whether he goes up or down, I'm just saying, okay, like I want to keep this nice 3 ounces of pressure in my hand. If your horse goes to curl, you can take your hands a little bit wide, but I really am just saying, okay, I really want to feel each corner of his mouth. And then if I feel like he would kind of lengthen his neck and push his nose a little bit out, I'll let my hands go just a little bit to the front. So some specific exercises that you can do if you have a horse that wants to curl are leg yields is one of the most common ones. The reason that a leg yield can help with a horse that wants to curl is because in a leg yield, you're connecting the inside hind leg to the outside rein. So here, I'm thinking about connecting the left hind leg into the right rein. So let me do that again. And again, I'm really focusing on having a super steady feel of that outside rein, turning up the quarter line. And now I'm keeping the right rein contact, and I'm really connecting him from my left leg and into the right rein. So if he like drops behind and curls a little bit, what I can do is I can lift him a little up. Like I can lift my hands up, get him almost a little bit more above the bit, and then reestablish that steady contact. It's important that if your horse curls and you lift them up, that you don't keep your hands up. So you see how I kind of lift my hands up and then put my hands back down. Another really good exercise you can do for horses that curl are transitions. So the reason that transitions help with horses that curl is that it forces them to push from their hind leg through the back into the hand. So you can do trot, walk, trot transitions. You can do trot, canter, trot transitions. But again, I'm really focusing on, with a horse that curls, keeping my hands steady and still, riding from leg to hand. So I think about using my leg and my seat and keeping my hands forward. Like I'm not, you see, the second I bend my elbows or my arm too much, it immediately curls him behind and I lose the contact. So I'm keeping I can have my rein short, but my hands are very still and I have a forward feeling hand. And then back to my transition. So I did a few trot, walk, trot transitions. Trot, canter, trot transitions are another good one. You'll notice like here he's wanting to curl. So like I'll let him curl, and kind of just to show you guys, like in the canter, when he doesn't want to use his hind end, this is what he does. He starts going like this, and then when he goes like this, he breaks, he often like does that. He breaks to the trot. I can no longer steer him. I can't control his body. So what do I do if he's curling? I bring him a little up. I get that contact, and then I go back to doing my transitions. So if you have trouble with your horse in the contact, if you need more exercises, definitely sign up for the 30 Days Surround Challenge, because getting your horse accepting the contact, getting your horse correctly working through their body is super important. It's important even if you are just doing trail riding, or if you're a jumper rider, or if you're a Western rider. It's really about being able to communicate with your horse. And if you have a horse that curls, that's a form of evading the contact, evading the connection, and it can be difficult to deal with. So I hope that this has helped you. And you know, this horse, I'm sure you've seen, he kind of wants to do both. Sometimes he'll curl, sometimes he'll get a little bit above the bit, and you want him right in between those two things. You don't want him to be curling, but you also don't want him to be above the contact and bracing in the contact. So thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out. I publish new videos every single week about dressage training. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and let me know in the comments if it helped you with your horse that curls.